Hello guys and welcome back to the channel Packed Out. Now we are halfway through the F1 season, we're 12 races in, which means I have to go back and look at my predictions from the start of the season and see how well they've done. I'm not very confident that they've done well at all, but remember we are doing this from how well the drivers are doing, but more so from a card point of view and card investments, how well we think their driver cards will perform in some of the new sets. So it isn't just going to be based on the F1 drivers' performances, but it is a little bit because some of them may not be in the sport currently. So let's have a look at the list. All right, so here we have got the list. We're going to start off with the bottom, and I can already tell that it's going bad. So let's start off with the Aston Martin 2, Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. So Fernando's kind of expected, and Aston, to be honest, have performed how I expected them to do. There's nothing really notable in terms of collecting cards for them this season. They're not going to win the championship. They're getting a couple of points, but nothing special. And that's why I put them in D tier. You might say it's harsh to put Fernando Alonso in D tier, but it is what it is. Am I going to change them? I think I'm going to. I'm going to be a bit less harsh on Fernando. I'm going to put Fernando... I'm just going to put him top of D. I don't think you can collect his cards this season for like monetary gain, but I'm going to put him above Stroll because I think he's definitely outperformed Stroll, and I'm going to keep Stroll where he is. Now, one person I was definitely wrong about was Nico Hülkenberg. He got a podium at Silverstone, and I put him in D tier at the start of the season. What was I thinking? Right, so we're going to have to move him. He now has a podium card for tops now that we can collect. A little bit more popularity and things like that, so I don't think he can go in D tier. I don't think he suddenly becomes this amazing driver that everybody wants to collect, so for that reason I'm going to move him out of D, but I'm going to put him top of C tier. I think he's performed pretty well, to be honest. Next we've got Pierre Gasly, who I put in D tier because I didn't think anything special would come from Alpine, and to be honest was kind of right. You know, they're really underperforming compared to the rest of the midfield. They're not really best of the rest. Gasly's able to perform way better than Doohan or Colapinto has this season. So again, harsh to put him in D, but again, I don't think there's anything special to collect this season for his cards. So simple enough. I'm going to leave him where he is. I'm going to keep him in D. Right, next up we've got C tier drivers. So Yuki Tsunoda. So at the start of the season he was in Cash App RB, and now he's been promoted into Red Bull, although arguably his performance is worse in the Red Bull than it was in the Cash App. So I think I put him in C because I thought there was a chance he could be put into Red Bull. And arguably he's going to have some Red Bull cards now, which will be collectible. So I think for that reason, people want to collect the Red Bull versions of Yuki Tsunoda. So I'm going to put him in bottom of B tier. Remember, this isn't reflective on his performance in the car and how good a driver I think he is. But one thing to note is that there's a chance that he could be dropped because of the Honda deal that could be expiring at the end of the season, and it might not be renewed in 2026, which could leave him out of a seat in that Red Bull. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Isaac Hadjar and Arvid Lindblad in the Red Bull next season, and then somebody, you know, like Lawson and, you know, maybe even Nuki could be back in that other seat. I don't really know, to be honest, but I think it's fair enough that we can put him in D, but just monitor what could happen in his future. Up next we've got Albon, and I put him in C because I didn't think Williams would do that well this season, and they've definitely, and to quite a nice surprise, outperformed my expectations of them. So I'm going to have to move him out of the C tier for sure, and I think he's been so solid. He's really proved himself as a good driver. Is he an A tier driver? Probably, but from a card investing point of view, I don't think so. I don't think he's quite A, okay? So I'm going to put him top of B. He's definitely going above Sainz, who I thought would outperform him, which is why I put him in the bottom of B. Sainz is still a popular driver. He's just not quite got to grips with that Williams as quick as Albon has, and to be honest, he's had rotten luck this season so far. So I think he can probably stay in B tier for now. Next, let's have a little look at Esteban Ocon, and he's been really poor, to be honest. He's been outperformed by Ollie Bearman, which I kind of predicted on this as well. And I'm going to have to drop him out of C tier. I put him in C tier because I thought he's moving to Haas for his first season, and those cards would be quite collectible at the end of the season if you're an Esteban Ocon fan, for example. But I'm now going to knock him down from C just based on his performance and put him, he's going to go below Gasly next to Stroll for me. So that's the C and the D tier done. Let's see if anyone else has moved down into those tiers and check out the B tier drivers. So we've done Yuki, we've done Sainz. Let's do George Russell, who I originally put in B tier, which I'm not sure why. Maybe I just thought that it wouldn't be a very good season for Mercedes, and card-wise, nothing special to collect from George's point of view. He's not moved teams. He's not, he's probably not going to get a world championship. But I think he is sitting in third in the championship at the moment, or very close to Verstappen in third. So, he's been consistent. But at the moment, there's a lot of talk about Verstappen going to Mercedes, and nothing's been confirmed yet. But it looks more likely to be George than Kimi that gets replaced in the Mercedes. So we'll have to watch that one very closely. But I think in terms of this season, how he's performed, I'm going to have to move him out of B and up into A tier. He's definitely been better than Charles Leclerc, so I'm going to stick him in there. And I think next season, if he stays at Mercedes and they give him the car and Max doesn't go there, there's no reason he can't win a world championship in 2026, depending on the regulations and how well they get that car hooked up. Next, let's look at Jack Doohan, and it's pretty obvious where we're going to put Jack Doohan. Bottom of D. I did say in this video that he would be replaced by Franco Colapinto. I called that right, but I still thought he might perform a little bit better. He was in B because he's going to have rookie cards at the end of the season, but it'd be really interesting to see what Topps does with the sets. We have seen, like in Turbo Attacks, that Doohan is in that set rather than Colapinto because they based it on the start of the season and not what's happening now. He could even come back into Alpine as well, and you never know what will happen in 2026. So maybe a bit harsh to put him in D because he's going to have rookie cards to collect. So we'll put him behind Gasly. Up next, let's do Isaac Hadjar. So he's actually performed way better than I thought he would. I had him in B tier before, which is pretty much I had all the rookies more or less in B tier. But he's definitely outperformed my expectations of him. He's become much more likable. He's had a couple of tough races, but I think he's done really well considering he's probably been except for Max, been the best Red Bull driver on the grid. So we're going to upgrade him in from B, and we're going to put him in A tier. I think he could be very collectible, and he's a little bit slept on at the moment. His cards don't go for a ridiculously high price, but I think when people start realizing his potential, that's when you might want to purchase some of his cards. But that's just my point of view. It's not investment advice, so take that how you will. Next, let's do Gabriel Bortoleto. So he's done all right in the Kick Sauber. He's obviously got points this season, which is excellent for him and his rookie season. I have high hopes for him because he is quite young and he did so well in the previous formulas. So I think I'm going to just keep him in B tier. I think he's well placed. You can collect him for the future for sure. Kick Sauber obviously doing far better than expected, but you don't know how that's going to change in 2026. It looks like they're going for it a little bit more this season with the Hulkenberg podium and getting more points finishes and doing better than some of the other teams for sure. So yeah, I'll keep him in B tier, but watch out for him next season for sure. And we've done Albon, so let's move over to the A tier drivers. So Oliver Bearman, I put in A tier. Reason being, he's in a new team at Haas, F1 for the first time, except from the Ferrari drive. He's done pretty well in the Haas. He's done better than Esteban Ocon has. And I put him in A tier mainly because obviously he's British, likeable, and at the time his cards went for a very good price. Those card prices have dropped a bit for him. It's someone I kind of watch and monitor quite closely for the cards. So I'm going to drop him down a little bit for card collectibles from this point on. I'm going to put him with Albon in B tier. I still think he's a good driver, but I think we need to just see what's going to happen in the future. If he gets a Ferrari seat, which could happen if Lewis ever leaves Ferrari, if it keeps going that way, he's more likely to get a seat than any other Ferrari drivers I can see already on the grid. So I think that's a positive thing for him. And if he does go to Ferrari, then those cards will obviously be pretty amazing to collect. And now let's do somebody in which the predictions did not age very well. I put Liam Lawson in an A tier. And I'm massively regretting that now, looking at it. He didn't get a fair chance in that Red Bull, and I don't think it's completely based off his performance. I think it's the car. I think we're at the point where we've seen it enough now. You know, we know how good Yuki Tsunoda's been, and he's massively struggling in that Red Bull as well. We've seen it with other drivers in the past, with Gasly, Albon. Anyone that goes alongside Max struggles in that car, and I do feel sorry for him. So I massively unpredicted his performance and how quickly he would get dropped. But I think now he's actually a bit more steady and happy in the Cash App team, even though maybe his confidence has been knocked a little bit. So we can definitely drop him down from A. And I think we'll put him in low B tier. He did get a nice points finish recently, but for the future, probably not too much to shout about. I don't think he's going to go back into the Red Bull seat anytime soon. It's more likely to be someone like Lindblad that gets promoted straight into it, because that seems like a better route. So yeah, dropping down to the low of B. Up next, we're going to do Charles Leclerc, who I put in A tier. And mainly I put him A tier because he's a very good driver and anything could have happened from the start of the season. But Ferrari just haven't looked on it how I thought that they might at the start of the season. So therefore, he's going to have to get dropped down a little bit as well. Obviously, he's an excellent driver, one of the best on the grid. So don't think me dropping him down makes me think he's worse than the drivers above him. I just think from a card collecting point of view, it's just not really going to be there this season. So I think I'm going to drop him down. He's going to have to go below Bortoleto, because I think Bortoleto is more collectible for the future, even though Leclerc's cards do hold up pretty well. But it's just my opinion at the end of the day. All right, let's do the two McLaren boys together, who I put in A tier together, because obviously they're two of the best drivers, and I thought they could have a chance of doing well based on how they did last season. And they have done, right? They've done really well, but they've done way better than I expected them to. One of those two is going to win the Drivers' Championship, that's for sure. McLaren have already pretty much got the Constructors. We're halfway through, but anything can happen, obviously. So we're going to upgrade both Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris to S tier. And the order I'm going to put them in is I'm going to put Oscar above Lando. The reason being, I just think Oscar's got that edge and he can win the World Championship with a little bit less like fumbling. And he's obviously in the lead at the moment. It's easier to put him there. And I think from a card collecting point of view as well, a lot of people own Lando Norris cards. He's quite well collected. But Oscar's prices are still pretty high for card collecting as well. And maybe a little bit slept on. I don't think massively, because the card prices are pretty big. But I think this is the year he could win the World Championship. One of those two is going to win it. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I think from an investment point of view, both of them are going to be good this season. And Oscar's going to be great into the future as well. Next, let's do Max Verstappen, who I put in A tier. And I think I'm going to keep him there. I could drop him down further because I don't think he's going to win the World Championship. He's in the contention, but we've just seen Christopher Horner leaving the team. There's stuff going on. There's rumours that Max is going to go to Mercedes, which is looking quite likely. And from that point of view, though, if you think about it in a different way, does that mean he's a good collectible this season because this is his last season in Red Bull? And in the future, we're going to want to see him in that Mercedes outfit. I think for the future, long term, if he does move, good investment. But I think for this season, I don't think you really want to collect his cards. So even though he's a great driver, I think he's the best driver on the grid by some way. I'm going to drop him down as a collectible point of view into B tier, which is pretty insulting for Max Verstappen, but I think collectible point of view is fair. And final two drivers that I had in my tier list, Kimi Antonelli, he's staying in S tier. I wouldn't say he's had the best start to a season. He's obviously got some points finishes. He had a sprint pole, which was incredible. But he's had some incidents as well. Kind of to be honest, is exactly what I expected for a rookie season. I thought he'd have some incidents and start ironing them out as we go on. But he's definitely shown the pace. He's definitely shown that he's got what it takes. And his card prices are still ridiculously high. So I think he's definitely still going to be someone you want to collect. One caveat to watch out for is there is a potential that if Max does join Mercedes, that he could get dropped. He could get put into someone like a Williams. I think it's highly unlikely that he gets dropped, even though George is performing incredibly. either way, I think he'll still have a place on the grid with Toto, and something will be worked out there. So yeah, we're going to keep him in S tier, and I think that's more than fair. We're going to keep him behind the 2 McLarens as well. And last but not least, let's do Lewis Hamilton, who I put in S tier. The main reason being this is going to be his first year in Ferrari with the Ferrari cards, and we've already seen some images come out from Lights Out and from TurboTax as well, and those cards look great. I think they're pretty much as collectible as people expected that they would be. But his performance this season has not been great in that Ferrari. He's not managed a podium yet, and this is the longest he's gone without a podium in a team. Like, he's always had one in the first 10 races or something like that. So I think from that point of view, we might drop him down a little bit. I think he's definitely less collectible than Kimi now. I think he's still an S tier collectible. And the Ferrari card's going to be iconic to collect anyway. So yeah, I think collect the high value Lewis cards for the Ferrari. And yeah, that's it. And there we go, guys. That is my entire list, now refreshed and done. I've changed it around a lot, which I guess means I've done a really bad job on predicting what was going to happen. But that is the beauty of F1. You never know what's going to happen. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the rest of the season holds. It'd be interesting to do this at the end of the season and see how well I think this list has held up compared to that and where I would put them. Obviously, we'll know Oscar and Lando, who's got the championship, but you never know what's going to happen in the meantime. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Do like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff, and look out for all the other videos coming out on the channel in the coming weeks. We're doing really well on YouTube, and I just want to thank everyone for their support so far. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.